Herman here from Camp Life Growth. Hey guys, it's Herman here from Camp Life Growth. I'm going to be starting a new project here. It is going to be an insulated hammock using a couple of Costco down quilts. I'm going to be sewing them together. I've never done this before. Not really sure how it's going to turn out, but I want it to be as simple as possible, as inexpensive as I can, get without sacrificing the warmth. I'm really looking for some warmth to get down to at least 30 degrees is what I'm shooting for. And I'm not sure how this is going to work out or the technique, but I think my stumblings and my failings will probably help you out. So that's why we're shooting this video. All right, we're gonna get started. All right, so what I got here is some 1.9 ounce foliage green ripstop nylon from Ripstop by the Roll. And I am going to, it's 60 inches wide, which I think is this length right here. So I'm going to try to get, I'm gonna keep the width. I'm just gonna go with that. I'm gonna try to go for 9 feet with, I think, 3 inches of seam allowance on both sides. I don't know, we'll see. Whatever it comes out to after I've made the seams and the sewn channel or whatnot, that's whatever length of this it will be. So I'm gonna try to measure this out. How am I gonna do this, you say? I don't know. I don't like it. So that's about, I'm gonna do it like they do in the fabric store. So that's about 3 feet there. Now I'm gonna go out to here. That's another, say, 3 feet. And then from there, I'm gonna go out to here, and that's 3 feet. And so after I've done all that, now I'm going to just fold it in half. How do people do this? All right. So I'm gathering this end. We're gonna keep it to meet all the way. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna clip this off to mark my 9 feet here. Stay. This here is the 9 feet mark. So I folded it in half, and now grabbing these two edges, folding it in half hot dog style. All right. Meeting these two edges. I guess the first cut really will just be a rough cut, and that's fine. Keeping the edges together still, yes. Keeping the edges together still, yes. Keeping the edges together still, yes. Edges together, yes. Now edges together to the 9 foot mark, where now I'll reclip it. Now that I've got that, I can probably make a good, decent cut. Nope, gotta fold it in half again. So we do that again. I'm just gonna stinking cut it. This is a drag. I don't know how people cut. How do people cut their fabric straight? I guess it's not technically straight to start with. So you gotta make your own square. Whatever, I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna do this, then I'm gonna square it. Because I don't want to fuss with this giant length of fabric here. All right, as you can see, my rough cut was not straight, which is fine because that's what I was just getting tired of it. So I'm going to line this up, this factory edge. I'll consider that factory edge the 90-degree angle that I want it to be. And now, once that's there, I'm going to attempt to cut a straight line from there. All right. A little bit of movement, that's okay. So I'm just lining up the squares here to get a nice straight cut. And go all the way in. That's better. Now we have a nice straight cut, straight enough for me. Bring on the sewing machine. All right, we got the Singer, heavy duty, whatever, 100 and something bucks ish on Amazon. I like it. It's my first and only sewing machine, and I know how it works, kind of, not really. I can do the cross stitch and I can do a straight stitch. All right, all I'm gonna do is just a rolled hem along this raw edge along the 9-foot length. A rolled hem. You can probably Google it, but we're gonna do that on here. And I'm gonna do a cross stitch. All right, I'm just gonna do about, I don't know, what is this, a 1/4 inch or something like that? Gather all my fabric over here. Camera, you're in the way. I'm gonna go for about a 1/4 inch. Rolled hem like that. Back stitch. Just doing a straight stitch. You get the idea. All right, so this is the rolled hem on the edges. Good enough. Can you see that? The detail? Focus. There it is. It's okay. All right, so here we have the Costco underquilt. Right now I have seam ripped all of these horizontal seams right here. I'll show that to you up close here. That probably took the longest amount of time. Right there, you can see the horizontal seam rip. So what we're looking at right now is this length of the Costco quilt is 70 inches, and I'm gonna keep this length, and the width is 60 inches. I'm gonna be cutting this down by about 12 inches, or 2 squares, as you can see here, so 1, 2. So what I'm doing right now is, now that I've seam ripped all the horizontal ones, I'm trying to fluff move all of the down to the bottom of the blanket right now, so that I can keep as much down as I possibly can. So, you know, we're saving adding an extra 15% more down to 85% less area, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I don't know if that math is correct. But anyway, so just kind of shake it. Shake each column. So if you can see, the down is already flowing down here, over here, into the little columns here. So we're just trying to keep as much down as we possibly can. So just shake, shake, shake. And it's a lot easier to do if you have this hanging on something, which I have right now. So my overall dimensions of the underquilt that I'm going to sew on to the hammock is going to be 70 inches by 48 inches. So I'm going to cut down 10 inches and leave about 2 inches for seam allowance, so that I should have around 48 inches of width. So that should about 4 feet for the width, and the length 70 inches. I'm only 5'5", so that's more than enough for the length. So the way the baffles are gonna be, those are gonna lie horizontal around me like this. I don't know which way is better, but this is the only way that I can do it with the Costco quilts and still get as much length as possible for a full length quilt, and save as much down as I possibly can. If I did it any other way, I don't know if there's a way that I could get vertical and save all the down at the same time. Yeah, without having to take it out of the channels and move it into something else, because I don't want to do that, because taking the down out just sounds like a lot of trouble. So I'm trying to make this as simple, no cleanup as possible. All right, we'll take a closer look here. So here you can see a little side view. Maybe this is a better view. A little side view, all the channels. So, and you can just see right off the bat when you're doing this where it needs to be, where it needs to go down. And probably on this side, as you can see, the down's higher up there. So I'm gonna shake that out a little bit until it gets further down. Yeah, the sides want to hold on to it a lot more. But yeah, so I'm gonna shake this down, and then I'm gonna go 1 square, 2 square, and then sew all the way across this seam right there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I could pin this down here at that second square, because that's where I'm going to be cutting, but I'm too lazy, so I'm not gonna pin it down. I'm just gonna try to carefully take down this this quilt here, just carefully, without, hopefully, what I don't want to do is shake the down back up there, because the whole goal of this is to save as much of the down as we possibly can. So get this to your workstation. Ooh, gently. And then have your sewing machine on would be helpful. I'm gonna sew 2 squares. So I'm just gonna sew this off from here. So 1 square, 2 squares, and then I'm going to cut. All right. And I'm really just using a straight stitch. Set it at 4 length, the largest length that I have. And I'm just gonna go back stitch and hit it. All right, so I've sewed all along right here, this 70-inch length, and now I'm going to cut this off, and I'm going to use some pinking shears. Pinking shears are a little weird. What they do, I think, is that pinking shears help you to keep the threads from fraying, I guess. So I'm just cutting along, being careful not to cut the quilt underneath there. Don't do that, but also not to cut through the seams, but trying to get as close as I can. So we'll be cutting all of this off. All right, now that I've cut that edge with the pinking shears, I'm just gonna do another rolled hem right here, just to clean up the edge a little bit, because this isn't the prettiest thing. Though, to be honest, my rolled hems aren't that great either, so whatevs, practicing our sewing skills. Let's get that done. All right. All right, so here we are. We got both quilts all sewed up, one on top of the other right now. And I think I'm just going to pin them together and sew them. I'm thinking I'm probably gonna do a little dart on the gray one. Nah, I'm just gonna try sewing them all together and seeing how that works out. I just want a winter underquilt hammock, and let's see if this will work. All right, so I've pinned the 2 hammocks together along the edges, every like 1.5 feet or so. And one key thing to think about is that you want, actually I'm not sure about this, but you want the reflective side. See how this is the non-reflective side and reflective side. You want the reflective side, I think, pointed, you want the reflective side pointed towards yourself. Yeah, I think you want the reflective side pointed towards yourself, so that it's reflecting the heat back up towards your body. So just put both reflective sides facing the same way. All right, now that I'm all pinned together, I'm gonna sew them together. I think I'll probably just use a crisscross stitch here. All right, so we have the hammocks, or the Costco quilts, sewn together now. Little reversible sides here. We got a pretty good loft. Now I am going to sew this onto the hammock. Now what I'm gonna do is every about 16 inches, I'm gonna sew a 2-inch dart, which is basically a dart is when you fold it over like this, kind of like a pleat, I guess, right? So that it should provide some more room for stretching. It's kind of like a cargo pants pocket. That's what I like to think of it. So I'm gonna do one every 16 inches along here. So I'll get about 3 darts. I'm gonna do one 2-inch dart there, one 3-inch dart at the middle where my butt, I think my butt will be, where it'll be heaviest, I'm guessing. And then another 2-inch dart over here. And then along this side, I'm going to also do a 2-inch dart, 3 2-inch darts every 10.5 inches. So one there, and then one there, one in the middle, and 2 on the quarter sections. And I think I'm going to offset the hammock, or sorry, the quilt, just a little bit forward this way. So I'll probably, you guys can click on the Camp Life Bros tutorial and you'll see my measurements that I did. And I'm not sure if the measurements are gonna work, but I'm anticipating this being my foot end and this being my head end. So less quilt on the head end because I always tend to slide, my body slides forward where my feet are further up while my head is more towards the center. So hopefully that should mean I have more coverage. Because my feet always get cold. Though I could use a foot pad, but I always feel like I'm wasting a ton of quilt up at the top where my head is. So I'm gonna offset that a little bit. So I'm gonna get sewing. Hey guys, all right, so I've pinned the hammock down, or pinned the underquilt down to the hammock. So what I did was on the darts, maybe you can see this, but where's the darts? Right here. On the darts, I sewed them before I pinned it down. I thought that would be a little bit easier to do. Since pinning things down suck, I hate doing that. So yeah, so what I did was I sewed the darts together. So I just pinched the hammock, or pinched the underquilt together, a little 2-inch darts, and sewed that together first. That was real quick. And then I placed the quilt onto the hammock and pinned that down. And so now I am off to sew. Okay. All right, so it is sewed on now. Not bad. I just did a cross stitch. Yeah, here's my little bungle right here. So it's not super accurate, but I think it's just fine. All right. Pinning it down is helpful, but in the end, you're just kind of guessing anyway. So, oh, there must be a more accurate way to do this, but this will work, I think. All right, look at that floff. Look at that floft. I call it floft. It's pretty good. That's like a good, yeah, that's a good 5 inches. Yes. All right, here is the silver turtle, as I like to call it, the new hammock with the sewn in underquilt. We're gonna give it a first shot right here. Here we go. Oh, look at. There it is. So I don't have as much shoulder coverage as I would like right here, I guess. Or it's not really shoulders. My shoulders are covered, just not my arms. But the sleeping bag should do fine. It's warm. It does the trick. Pretty good. I feel like we got a great amount of loft right here. It's good loft. Maybe baggy right here at the feet. A little bit. Yeah, it's a little baggy right there. Right here, it's good. It's pressed up, pressed up, pressed up. Yeah. All right, overall, not too bad. Pretty quick job. Maybe about 5 hours of work. 5 to 7 hours. Most of the time was spent doing the seam stitching or ripping the seams. I'll take you on a tour. Here we go. We got a whoopee sling tree strap. I tried a carabiner here just because I don't have a continuous loop right now, so we're trying this out. Works good because a lot of times I'm worried about hanging a short hang, so this will help me with the short hang. Here's the inside. You can see here the stitching. Zigzag stitch. Here's the top here. Let's take a look at the underside. Ooh, no air getting in there. Look at that bad boy. Look at that bad boy. There's his underbelly here. Not bad. Hey guys, here I am back at the shop. Just wanted to run through with you how I felt about the insulated hammock. Overall, it was a quick build. Didn't take too many skills that I needed to learn. It was just straight sewing and some cutting, and that was it. Very inexpensive. I did it for about 60 bucks. At Costco, you can find those quilts for $40 for two. If you don't have a Costco membership, you can still get it for pretty cheap. It's still 40 bucks for one of them. So you could make this hammock for under $100. And so how I felt about the hammock, the insulated hammock with this having it sewn in is a fantastic idea. I think this is a version 1. A version 2 should be coming soon, probably sometime this year. The whole darts and trying to create that gap so that when I lie down and compress it, I wanted a little bit of a gap so that I wouldn't compress the down, but I ended up making too big of a gap, and so there was a little bit of air between my butt and where the insulation was. So my recommendation is, if you're gonna use the Costco down quilts, which I recommend because it's so cheap, just don't do the darts. I don't think you need to do that. A lot of the stuff, how I made this came from the Just Jeff to the Woods site. I'll link it in the video here, but I got a lot of information from him, and he made a fantastic build for a sewn-in insulated hammock. But he didn't use a full blanket and then put it underneath. He actually stuffed stuffed his hammock so that it would be insulated. So that it makes sense to have the darts there. But so I thought, hey, this guy knows what he's doing. But in my case, my specific case with the Costco quilts, I didn't need that. So I would recommend if you're gonna build this, just don't do the darts, which makes it way more easier. You just basically sew it right directly onto your hammock. You could probably do this with any hammock and any underquilt. So give it a shot. It's so cheap, so easy, and a fun project to do. And at the end, you have this really simple insulated hammock that takes almost no setup. You just string it up. It's like stringing up the hammock, no fuss with an underquilt, and it's warm. So yeah, check out the link to the Camp Life Bros. I got a written out tutorial. So if you want details on how to do this, just check out the link in the description to check out our Camp Life Bros site. And there you will find a tutorial. We got some diagrams on there and maybe a little bit more explanation to help you with this video. So use the video, use the tutorial, and go out and make something cool. Yeah, well, all right, Camp Life Brother, signing out.